I don't believe that the world is ready to listen to Bangladesh.
It was hijacked by hardcore fanatic Islamists that want to destroy the country. And they start by the minorities, but they don't stop with the minorities.
People who are in the centre, even people who don't even like the Awami League, are quite fearful, and I think it's an absolute shame for Bangladesh.
Why did Mr. Yunus so-called reform? Well, for exactly getting the numbers that we just managed to overcome is worse nightmares. And this is what is happening. And it should be the center of all those who believe in human rights. All of those.
Talk about the human rights situation in Bangladesh since after the ousting of Sheikh Hasina. So how do you see the situation? What is the analysis of the European people?
Well, I think that the issue, unfortunately, is not conveniently understood. And you just have to look at Nepal to understand what is the difference. Of course, there are insatisfaction, people that for various reasons want to protest, but what we have seen in Bangladesh is someone that grabbed the power not to ensure any reform, not to ensure any democracy, but quite on the contrary. He needed 18 months to turn democratic elections impossible, because it is absolutely impossible to hold free and fair elections in a country where the most important party is persecuted the way it is. There is an estimation of 15 million internally displaced people that are just running away for not being murdered, for not being imprisoned, for not being falsely accused of whatever, because there are 50,000 fake accusations made on journalists, on professors, on politicians, most of them absolutely absurd, anonymous, or made by people that have nothing to do with whatever. The situation, in my opinion, is the most serious all over the world. Of course, you have violence in many places, you do, but in such a scale, in a country that has 200 million people and geared at destroying the acts of foundation of the country, because the people in charge, namely the Jamaat-e-Islami, are very clear. They want to destroy 71. They want to destroy the independent Bangladesh. That's their aim, and that's what is at stake.
There are a lot of incidents where the minorities in Bangladesh are being targeted. Their churches are being burned, temples are being burned, people are being killed. So do you believe that Bangladesh is now in the hands of the Islamic radicals?
Absolutely. It was hijacked. Whatever people thought it was an idea to change government, it was hijacked by hardcore fanatic Islamists that want to destroy the country. And they start by the minorities, but they don't stop with the minorities. They go ahead with the bulk of the population. They are a threat to all the population in Bangladesh.
The situation in Bangladesh, because since 2014, the situation is getting worse. There are a lot of attacks going on. There are a lot of bans on the political parties. So do you believe everything is okay in Bangladesh?
Human rights violation in Bangladesh at its highest level in last 54 years. All sort of population, it's not only the minorities, they are tortured, no doubt about that. Even the Ahmadiyya people are getting tortured. Hindu, Muslim, Christian, nobody is spared over the last 14 months. As you know that more than 2,500 cases has been documented of torture. About more than 30 people has been killed, minorities. And as one of the report from Global Center for Democratic Governance, they said that at least 637 people were killed by mob lynching. So this is the scenario. Hundreds and thousands of houses have been set, burned, looted, vandalized. At the moment, they are trying to do a fraud election, comprises of few parties and banning other popular parties. So Bangladesh needs to get back democracy, rule of law, and justice. That's what we are fighting for.
So what support are you seeking, from the international community, and do you believe that the world is ready to listen to Bangladesh views?
I don't believe that the world is ready to listen to Bangladesh, because one of the report came from the Human Rights Commission on February 12th. That is the report they mentioned that was not maintained their editorial policy as a UN standard. If they cannot maintain their standard, why they publish this report? And it was a biased report. We are going to rebuttal it, and we want to show them that they have mentioned the reports is not correct.
We can assume a lot has been spoken at this event about the situation in Bangladesh. Do you believe that Bangladesh will ever be returned to democracy?
Of course. I mean, obviously, Bangladesh was saved by Bangladesh Awami League in 1971. In 1952, we actually lead the country for our protest against Pakistani Janta, because while that time they said we cannot speak in Bengali, we have to speak in Urdu, and the national language is Urdu. That time, Bangladesh Awami League led the country. In 1971, Bangladesh Awami League again led the country and saved the country. And yes, of course, this is a very tough route, and you understand that Western power has captured actually indirectly. And this is a proxy war against India. I always say this: what happening in Bangladesh is a proxy war against India. The target is India, and the battlefield is in Bangladesh. So obviously, I mean, you know the situation and what you have heard so far. Look, just a week ago, a dead body was exhumed from the grave and was beaten, the dead body, and burnt. So the situation was that worsened, that worst, that a dead body had to take from the grave and had to burn. And whatever reason, whatever cause we're showing is actually, you cannot compare with anything. So the question was democracy. I would say, obviously, we are preparing ourselves. Many power. I won't say anyone's name, any country's name, but many powers in the world with us. They know that Bangladesh is being an Islamic extremist country. State-sponsored terrorism is being sponsored in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh cannot be a battlefield for the proxy war against India. Simple as that. And not even India, even against China or any other country. Bangladesh was always a very peaceful country, peace-lover country, and Bangladesh Awami League will save the democracy and bring the democracy again, and will kick out Yunus from wherever he is now.
You said that emerging in Bangladesh, because it's been over 1 year and there are no elections, there are no signs of return to democracy.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people in Bangladesh are quite fearful. I think if Muhammad Yunus had came in, made some small reforms, but then moved towards the election, I think people would have been a lot more content. However, I think what they've seen is there's Yunus and the students have wanted to vandalize Bangladesh's foundations, and it has caused atomization in society, and people are anxious about it. But then you've got, on the other hand, there's these other radicals out there, the radical Islamists from Jamaat-e-Islami. I mean, like just the other day, their deputy said he wanted to have a war with India, and creating a massive cadre of more jihadis to have a war. Like, this is just crazy talk. These guys could literally be creating the next government in Bangladesh. And I think people who are in the center, even people who don't even like the Awami League, are quite fearful, and I think it's an absolute shame for Bangladesh.